Welcome back to Lemmings to the Tribe. This is the second half of the Shadow Tribe. And are you ready to go to school? Because it's the school gate. So, compared to some of the last levels into the Shadow Tribe, this one is a little less forgiving. But with that said, I still like it a whole bunch. And that's not because Super Lemming is part of the crew and he has to be used in order for you to win. Oh, absolutely not. Lemming number 2 is going to be the one that will be tasked to become Super Lemming. In the meantime, Lemming number 1 is just going to pour the way in order to make it so that the button is going to be covered. The reason why we space the Lemmings in order to make it so that the filler does its job properly is to ensure that no Lemmings end up pushing on the button while the filler is currently doing its job. And by that good old time, everybody is going to be ready to tackle on the second half of the level, which unfortunately is not as inspired, but any level that ends up having a cannon always has some sort of fun factor to it, but especially, I mean, if you have the opportunity to ignore what the cannon does, so yeah. Right now, we're just going to send a single Lemming up here, because of course there's going to be gaps in order to fill, so alright. In the meantime, the other Lemmings are just going to be ready to face plant headfirst into a wall as being shot by a cannon. That's painful, but that's okay. They've managed to do much worse in the past. Also, don't ask me why I used a roller here. That was absolutely no purpose. Oh, I guess I needed to save all of those 3 seconds into that 9-minute level that we have here, but yeah. As soon as your platformer is finally starting to do his job, then it's okay. Everybody else can come, and you have another roper, so you could just bypass a cannon altogether, but yeah, at the very least, let's make it so that the cannon is not gonna be a hindrance. Just put it so that at least it shoots Lemming upwards. But yeah, here we go. That's about it for the main school gate. The Lemmings are finally going to the School of Phone Knocks. Now they are totally ready in order to be enrolled to the Doctor Who Academy. But what will you do at the Doctor Who Academy? What will you learn here? At this point, this is pretty much the one thing that has taken the entire focus of my thoughts now. Oh yeah, remember whenever I said, hey, the second half of the Shadow Tribe might be tougher. I'm sorry, but this level is here in order to remind you that, I'm sorry, but that's a complete lie. As much as level 6 was definitely a step in the right direction difficulty-wise, this could have easily been level 1 or level 2 of the tribe. You even have a swimmer here so that you don't even need, like, to apply yourself to try and jump over these gaps. That's as little as this level thinks of you, so yeah. At this point, this level is kind of insulting in terms of difficulty. This is a level that, if the levels were ordered in terms of difficulty, as they were in the first Lemming game, that probably will be like level 8 or level 9 of fun or something. At this point, I kind of feel bad of applying an athlete to that one guy because, yeah, he didn't even get a chance to go swimming. Oh well, hopefully there's gonna be more opportunities for swimming in the sports tribe. I mean, come on, that's a sport, right? But hey, at least the good news is, this is the final level of the tribe, which is going to be completely insulting to your intelligence. The last 3 levels are definitely going to be kind of tormenting into their own ways. So let's start up with Goossen's Inferno! Also, yikes, we have 40 ballooners. I don't know what we should make about this, but I don't think that's good news. And yeah, speaking of good news, there is no direct path to the exit, so it's going to be all done with the hand of 2 cannons that are going to shoot all of your 60 Lemmings up there, so you better get ready. So even though you have a bunch of bashers in this level, we're also gonna use a lot of bashers in this level, so the first order of affair will be to just use our bazookas because they're much harder to use, and therefore that will make it so that we can save our bashers for the places where they actually matter. Also, yeah, pretty basic choice of instrument this time for the attractor in the Shadow Tribe. A single cymbal. I'm kind of surprised that the Lemmings are even coming with that dance just with that. It's just, alright everybody, it's time to dance to this! And also, believe it or not, this attractor is actually a double-edged sword, because as much as it allows us to have a complete peace and quiet in order to just prepare our way forward, later on we're gonna have some problems with the level, because, yeah, remember the whole part about the two cannons? Well, it's kinda hard to shoot Lemmings whenever they're in a giant compact pile with absolutely no regard for just spreading out and everything, so therefore, the two cannons are just gonna have a giant big lull where they kinda do nothing, and therefore, it's gonna become really boring and uneventful. So, at least, the level has the courtesy of including 4 T-ballooners, and yeah, actually it's not that big of a stretch to say that you'll end up using most of them. At this point we're done with pretty much the puzzle component of the level. We have the entire path to the exit ready to go. We just need a single platformer and then starts the pain cannon, or the cannon pain should I say, because pain cannon will just mean that there's only a single one of them which is going to cause pain, but these two cannons are just going to cause pain their own separate ways. Also, by the way, the Lemmings cannot fall into that pit on the right because the fire hydrant here at least is a hazard that will block off your Lemmings. But yeah, this is how you can speed up the process a little bit. But yeah, even then it's still going to be painstakingly slow, and if all of your 60 Lemmings are in a giant pile, you're probably gonna end up running out of time before all of your Lemmings get to the exit, so yep, you better get cracking on those balloons. And yeah, I'm not gonna cut through this yet because yeah, at this point we just have to realize the whole folly of having used our attractor here, because yeah, this is definitely how it's going to be. A rate of 2 Lemmings rescued about every 20 seconds or so. Oh boy. But yeah, at the very least you can end up setting all of those very daring balloon stunts. And if it ends up working right, then oh boy, you definitely look fantastic here. And yeah, by the way, don't mind that a giant explosion in the wall. I tried to use a bazooka just in order to see, would it be possible for me to spread out my Lemmings more if I blew them up? But sadly, the answer was no. Oh no, I had 5 balloons and 4 of them ended up being complete whammies. Oh my goodness. At the very least, I guess they're now spread out successfully here. Yep, there we go. Now the last 3 Lemmings can just use the cannons on their own, and there we go. That's the end of Goossen's Inferno. Yeah, needless to say, if there was a way in order to deal without that attractor, boy, I will do it in a jiffy, because it makes the end of this level absolutely painful. And now, time for SPINNY THANG! Because this is definitely what you're gonna have to do in order to succeed in this level. I hope you have rehearsed well until your Twister exam, because, yeah, essentially this is your final exam. If you beat this level, you definitely have earned your Twister diploma. By the way, that's not how you earn a Twister diploma. If anything, this is how you just humiliate yourself in the front of everybody alive. And the worst part about this attempt is, I didn't even fail at the part of the level which was hard. Of course, the hardest thing about this entire thing is to twist your way all the way back up. There's a reason why the right part of this landscape is a whole lot more wide, because you're gonna need all of this space in order to dig upward in a way that your Lemming is going to be able to go all the way up without any kind of worries. Yep, see how close that is? And even then, we're not entirely out of the wood. We just need to blow our way a little bit badly and everything is gonna go wrong really, really fast. So, for the end of the level, we have those 2 paths that will just end up leading either left or right. you're gonna want to approach this obstacle by having your lemmings heading toward the right, because if they are headed toward the left, then whenever they're gonna reach the upper layer, they're just going to veer straight into pancake land over here. And when you have that many lemmings walking that closely to each other, you're not going to be able to pour the pit out of glue and everything in order to save everyone without any kind of casualties. So yeah, that's the reason why you have 2 ropers. One of them is used in order to get your lemmings over the pit you have created with the twister, and then you have to use a shitload of laser blasters in order to blast your way upward, and then rope your way through. Kinda like what we did in level 9 of Cave Lem, but a whole lot simpler. And now we get this level, which actually is kind of freaking hard, just because, yeah, the beginning portion is definitely gonna give you a lot of headaches with all of the building and little steps you're gonna have to do in order to successfully make your way through. Because, yeah, now we want our builder to walk off that ledge here, but yeah, because of the attractor, it's definitely not happening anytime soon. I kinda hate this level because there's definitely a bunch of luck elements here to this one. Okay, at least I managed to do some leeway, so now what I'll want is just to fly away from music. Very foolishly, but that's okay, because now at least he's not gonna have any more problems. And we have to use the jumper, or well, the glue pourer in that one instance, in order to make sure that we stop building, because otherwise we're gonna hit our head on the ceiling and our lemming is going to turn toward the left. And if that happens, we are toast. This level is pretty unforgiving just because of how you're gonna end up using every single skill at your disposal here. Yep, we got only 3 skills left and we're gonna need all of them. So now we're just going to end up building over here. Mind the fall here, it's kinda big, but that's okay, because at the very least we can still survive it, just barely. And then it's time to use the one skill that we have never used in the game yet, the planter. I think the skill appeared in a single other level in the game, and we didn't even need to use it. Oh no! Oh no! That was absolutely not how things were supposed to be. But hey, I guess you could also do the opposite if you're kind of uncomfortable with using the planter, but that's the way I do it because you me. But yeah, we can just plant seeds in the middle of nowhere in order to make ourselves a nice plant that will make a bridge. But yeah, as I was saying, it's totally possible to swap the builder and the planter here. It's really not a big gap to bridge in either case, and either way, what I'm trying to get at is that you do whatever you want. It's a video game about trying to figure out many different solutions, so yeah, Lemmings 2 is definitely good for that kind of thing. So, we are done with the Shadow Tribe, and okay, this lemming, however, is totally badass. With that said, we really did not have a lot of opportunities in that tribe where we ended up using guns, I guess. There were a couple of levels with a flamethrower, one level with a laser blaster, and then we had Goossen Inferno where we were armed with bazookas somehow. Because that's the only way in order to dispel away the darkness. It's too bad that the lemmings themselves were not hooded or anything, but we'd have to wait for the next and unfortunately lackluster Lemmings game to see them in shadow attire. So, it's been a long journey, but only a single tribe remain. Are you ready for sports?